yes, I want to run with someone that is authentic, vulnerable. So just be open. The Lord, it might look very different at the beginning,
right?
But be willing to hear the voice of the Lord.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It is that time of year. Yes, ugly Christmas sweater year. This is my All I Want for Christmas is Revival sweatshirt. They're not for sale. It was a gift. That's Randy Clark. But that's not why you're here. You're here for this incredible podcast with Fernando and Nathalia. They run our base in Portugal. And I sat down with them here at this table, and I wanted to just take a quick minute to say that we hit some subjects that might not be good for little kids. Fernando's story, his life, and what he's come through is one of the most powerful testimonies of redemption. Their marriage, it is incredible. You will not want to miss it. So sit back and relax. And while you're doing that, you can go to irisglobal.org. If you are in the California area or anywhere around there, we have a conference coming up January 10th to the 11th in Lancaster, California. Go to our website. There's going to be some information down there. You can sign up. I'm going to be there. Abel Cariaco from the Green Room is going to be there. You're not going to want to miss it. Enjoy this episode of the Green Room with Fernando and Nathalia from our Portugal base. What's up, Fernando? Nathalia.
Hey.
How are you?
Will.
We're good. How are you?
Good? I'm doing great.
We are doing great.
Good to have you guys on this week's episode of the Green Room.
Thank you.
We feel honored to be here.
Yeah?
Yes.
What did you say?
We feel honored to be here.
Say that word one more time.
Eu me senti honrado de estar aqui.
Honored. Okay. I like that. Okay.
Honored.
Listen, we're going to have to put like subtitles below.
Yes, please.
No, we're not.
That would be
great.
so helpful.
You speak great and people don't care.
Okay.
Yes.
I can make fun of you because
Yes,
I
you
love
can.
Yeah.
You can.
Let me introduce these guys. Let me introduce these guys to you guys. Hey guys, this is my good friend Fernando and Nathalia. My good friends, plural.
Yes.
Fernando and Nathalia, and they run our Iris base in Portugal. And you are not going to want to miss this episode. We're going to go a bunch of places today, and hopefully the title that you clicked on, is going to help maybe let you guys see where we're going to go. Because there's a beautiful story about one of our Iris bases, but also a beautiful story about your marriage and the transformation that God specifically has done in your life.
Yes.
And so, you're not going to want to miss it. As always, do me a favor, guys. It doesn't cost you anything. Do you know that? It doesn't cost them anything to hit subscribe.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah?
No.
It doesn't cost anything. You just hit it, and it helps. And it helps us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it help you? Maybe.
Yes.
We'll see.
Definitely.
We'll find out. Okay. So what's up, guys? How you doing? You just left Portugal,
Yes.
and you've come here to our little Iris house
Yes.
to hang out. How's your time been?
It's been so good.
Yeah?
Yeah. We do need this time to just stop, process, and see where we are as a family, as a ministry, and hang out with family as well and with friends.
It's
been so good.
Yeah, we've got to hang out a little bit.
Yeah.
Not as much as I want to.
Yeah.
But
it's been good.
and you guys have a son,
Yes, Christopher.
Christopher.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Brazil and Colombia,
And Chris was born in Portugal.
and he was born in Portugal.
Yes.
Sir.
So you speak Portuguese, you speak Spanish, and some
Yes.
Portuguese.
Yes.
Okay,
A lot of Portuguese.
a lot of Portuguese. And does your son speak?
English, Spanish and Portuguese. Yes.
He speaks a little bit of English too.
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
great.
been learning a
He's doing
lot.
great.
He's
Yeah.
been learning.
He's doing great. Well, give me the Cliff Notes version of who you guys are, what you guys do. I know we said a little bit, but like, give people the quick version. Who are you guys?
So we are missionaries.
Mm-hmm.
We've been missionaries for, I was a missionary in Mozambique for 6 years. And then after I married this man, and he was a missionary in Brazil, in Fortaleza.
Yeah.
For
Land
a
of
few
revival.
years.
Is it?
The land of
Yes,
revival.
course.
Fortaleza or Brazil?
Fortaleza.
Brazil.
Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil's on
Brazil,
fire.
yeah.
I'm with
Yes.
you. Okay.
Yes. I was just gonna say, yeah, that's why I marry a Brazilian, because
Wow.
I believe they carry fire.
Yeah.
In all every sense.
Come on.
And we are so we've been just serving God. We've both of us knew we wanted to be missionaries and go to some of the poorest places, some of the most unreached places.
Yeah.
Europe is Portugal. It's one of those places. We've been able to minister there, so we've been doing missions, both of us, for the past 10 years, like in different areas.
And how long have you been married?
6 years.
6 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what were you doing before missions? Like what were you guys up to?
I was doing mission in Fortaleza.
Okay.
The whole thing started with
On our base with Herbert Barbour.
Yes.
Okay.
Andrew Faston.
Yeah. We've had them on. We've had Herb and Lorelei on, who are now in Japan. And what about you? Before Mozambique, what were you doing?
I was raised in Colombia. My parents were pastors and planted many churches around Colombia in many unreached guerrilla FARC areas. So I think I've been a missionary my whole life.
Wow.
Pretty much.
Now, I would have had you guys on anyway, but today I actually had a specific desire, because I think your story, and I'd like to hone in on that for a little while, and we can go wherever we want.
Yep.
But I would like to really chat about y'all's story, because in all the missionaries, all of our teams, you guys have one of the most unique testimonies.
Yes.
Yeah. And it is one of transformation and miracles. So can we just jump right in it?
Of course.
Yes.
And man, maybe I should just say this. We're going to go some places. So if you have little kids that are watching, you don't want them to hear certain things, maybe earmuffs, or, take them in or out, or watch this ahead of time. Because really the story of transformation in your life. And I want to make sure that we share the reality.
Yeah.
And so you have never shared it on a public platform like this
No.
before.
No.
You've shared your testimony. You guys have shared it together in some small groups and stuff like that.
We did in a few churches, small groups, with friends,
Yeah.
but never publicly.
Are you nervous?
No.
Can I make you nervous? No, I'm just
Yes.
Probably.
kidding. So let's just get right into it, if that's okay.
Yes.
sir.
I actually have done my best to stay away from knowing the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
So Fernando, I'm just going to let you begin, right?
Yeah.
Growing up in Brazil.
Yep.
Just jump right on in.
Yeah. It's a good place to start it, because growing up in Brazil, we were literally surrounded by many sexual environment, and it was just released by the media and songs that we used to sing as a child. If you see historically, Brazil has this sexual, it's kind of part of the culture somehow in some place. So we kind of grow up in this environment that it was natural. It was actually banal, banal. You have this word. It's
In Portuguese.
banal.
Banal? Like banal, like normal?
Yeah, but not in a good way. They naturalize something that we're not supposed to be exposed as a child at all.
Yep. Sexualization at a young age.
Yeah.
So it was really strong growing up. This is what our reality. And
Can you give me an example of what that looks
I'm
like?
sure.
Actually, let me do this so we can
Yeah.
give some people some context. If I can share.
Yes, of
I
course.
don't want to stop you, but I want
Yeah.
people to know where we're going.
Yeah.
You came out of the homosexual community,
Yeah.
and to the point where you were selling. Were you selling? No.
Selling?
No. Were you involved in prostitution? No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not directly.
Okay. But you came out of the homosexual community.
Yes, sir.
And you've been through a process of transformation.
Yes.
Massive transformation.
Yes.
And so as people are watching, I want to give them this is why we're talking about this today.
Yeah.
So you grew up in a sexualized community.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. Any Brazilian that are watching right now, they're gonna get related with what I'm talking right now.
If you've been to
Because
Brazil,
it was
it's
like
everywhere.
you
Yeah.
have, if you open up the TV in a Sunday,
Just pull that.
if you open up the TV in a Sunday like afternoon during lunch that we are with whole family gathering, if you watch if you see what we watching as a child, it was like insane.
Yeah.
I would never like put my son to watch what you have like
Right.
access to, and the open TV and with the songs and everything.
Yeah.
So if it was like, it came to the point that for us as a child, like we just play and everything has this sexual connotation, and it was normal for us.
Yeah.
Just play. So we started with playing together and like doing and getting to know each other's, and so it was a
Highly sexualized culture
It
from
is.
a young age.
It's still, but I think it was that point, it was something that it was really
How
strong.
old are you? Both. If that's okay.
36.
Yeah, you don't have to answer that.
I'm 41.
You're
No,
41?
it's
I
okay.
love it.
I'm fine
yeah.
with my age.
We're the same. We're
okay.
basically the same. I married a beautiful older woman like you did.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it. Like, and then it just opened up. I do believe that, God released a sound for every generation.
Yeah.
And the enemy cannot make the same sound. But he can, like, somehow not allowing us to listen what God is releasing. And I do believe that there was a sound being released for my generation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're like suffocated by, many, many, many things that the enemy was trying to bring up. And it was, it's still something like that. I would say like that. I prayed that God can change about our nation, like exposing children to, many things they're not supposed to get exposed.
We just
as a
had
child.
Nick and Rachel Billman on. They're doing amazing work doing
Yeah,
we
love
love
them.
them.
Yeah.
We love them.
And God is moving. Like Brazil is changing at such a
Yes.
rapid pace. So how old were you when you were first exposed to pornography, to like when did this kind of lifestyle start in your life?
I can't remember when specifically, like the age, but I do know it was before 7.
Okay.
I always feel like a little bit different from other boys.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I want to play with girls' toys. I
Yeah.
want to do something. I was not like, I was a little bit fat. I had my eyes
Crossed.
crossed. I was like the whole thing that the bullying, to be like bullied.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like
yeah.
the target.
Yeah.
So I grew up knowing that something was different, and because of that, and in the whole environment and getting contact, I was also abused sexually at this age.
Right around 7 years old.
Yeah,
Someone you knew?
someone
Yeah.
I knew. Yeah.
Can I ask some? You told me
Of
I could
course, you-
ask whatever I want.
you can ask
family.
whatever you
Was this
want.
family? Was this a family friend? Was it outside of your family?
It was outside of my family.
Okay.
It was like a friendly environment. Like we grow up together.
Yep.
You know, like
Very
cousins,
communal. Yep.
community.
Same as my wife. Yep.
Yeah. So as I told you, like it was common. Like we just playing together. We kind of like had contact with this sexual.
Yeah.
So I remember that it started like that,
Yeah.
and then after like this environment that it was more like in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was when it started to go like outside of that.
Yeah.
I need to like say that my family was like my safe place.
Okay.
Like different of other testimony that you're probably gonna listen that people has problem with the family. I've never had it. It was actually the place that I feel safe. Everything that happened with me was outside of the environment of the family.
Yeah.
You know, so.
So 7 years old.
Yeah, probably.
And you said it was around that time you started being like, I'm different. Right?
Yeah.
Like I feel different.
Probably before that I felt different.
Okay.
Yeah, I always felt a little bit different.
At what age did you start like saying like, wow, it's more than just I feel different. I know that something is different.
It was all that I knew. I was like exposed for the sexual environment early,
Yeah.
and it was what I knew, like that it was even love and contact, and
Yeah.
you know, like, and have some value because I feel valuable somehow. So as it was only that what I knew, I grew up with that mentality that I was different.
Did you grow up, were your parents believers? Did you grow up around the church?
When I was 10, my father, this American family, came and opened this Baptist church in my neighborhood. The worst place that you can imagine. Like,
Yeah, your neighborhood was also like a favela.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the environment didn't help.
Describe a favela to us.
Well, I'm not from Brazil, but to me, I've been in places like in Mozambique,
Yeah.
in like villages, and people is like, oh, it's so dangerous. But the most danger I felt in my life, it's been in a favela in Brazil. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
from Colombia, but I'm terrified of like, it's like something can happen at any moment, but it is very dangerous. I feel afraid to walk in favelas, even saying this as a missionary. But he grew up, I went to his old neighborhood favela, and then you have to be really like cautious of like what's happening out there.
So it's abject poverty.
Yes,
It is.
poverty.
It is
Oh, yes.
houses, people stacked on top of each other.
Yes.
They're usually like communities that are built.
Yes.
No, of course, there's no building permits. It's like blocks and it's
Yes.
like stuff. And these cities really are built up, and they're all over Brazil.
Yes.
And lots of crime,
Yep.
lots of drugs,
Yep.
lots of prostitution, lots
Sexual
of
abuse.
lots of abuse.
Yeah.
We have many bases in that work and
Yes.
serve in favelas, and we had guns pulled on us in a favela.
Yep.
It's like it's the real deal.
Scary. Yes.
It's the real deal. Okay, so you grew up in a favela.
yes,
It's like 24/7.
yes,
Any times I've gone to them at night, it is chaos.
it is.
It's chaos.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you know that you were poor? Like, did you know that you had like? Did you grow up knowing that
Yes.
in poverty?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just, I don't know, like I remember even like I was processing those days, things that happened and when I was a child that was not related with the whole sexual environment.
Yeah.
And I remember that, you know, for us, there always someone that would murder on the street. And one of the
Murder.
Yeah. And one of the fun things that we would do is like, oh, let's see the body.
Really?
Yeah. As a child, it was like normal.
Yeah. Wow. Like, how often would you see dead bodies?
At least three times a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Crazy.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of gangs, groups of,
Yeah.
because of the whole drugs context that they live in. And so they just kill each other. And
Yeah. And the police sometimes come in and just kill
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
It's really lawless. I know some favelas I've been in. They're run by gangs, and they have an air of safety about them because they police themselves.
Yeah.
There's rules. There's
Yeah.
Yeah.
For us as a family, it was kind of like safe. Like they don't bother us, or
Yeah.
They know you.
Yeah, they know us. So I'm so thankful for this American couple who came to, planting this church in my neighborhood.
Do you know where they were from?
Yes.
Where?
I still contact with them.
Really?
They are right now in North Carolina. I love them. They are like heroes.
Come on. What are their names? Can you shout out?
Yes, Family Nunley, John Nunley, and Rena Nunley.
Wow.
Yeah.
Come on.
So it was the first contact that we had with the gospel as a child. But when I came into the church, I already had my struggles, it already happened, the whole abuse and the whole things. So I kind of like...
Was it pretty common amongst the kids your age too there in the favela?
Yeah.
Or did you have a unique...
No. It's
Okay.
pretty common. Like
It's just common.
That's why I love sharing that, because I know like that many people from Brazil, I know it's probably not everyone are gonna to understand, but they're gonna get related with what I'm sharing right now.
Yeah.
Many people, because it is really normal. I've been like listening for many testimonies of people that had the same thing. And it was the first contact that I had with the gospel, with this couple, American couple, and my family. I remember my father giving his life to Jesus, and he's still when I think about transformation, is my father.
Wow.
He is like, I remember he just leaving everything behind, and even like going the opposite of everything that he was doing.
Wow.
When he gave his life to Jesus, radically. It was insane to see that. And of course, because of that, like we are all Catholic in Brazil at this point. Not really, but not really practicants, but
Catholic in culture.
Yes, in culture,
but not practicing.
No, not practicing.
Yeah, I got you.
And I remember my grandmother and most of the aunts and uncles, like they didn't like the fact that we are, becoming
Protestants,
believers, So it was hard for us as a family. So it was a lot of things happening at the same time for me as a child. I had to deal with the whole thing, but I've never could communicate it with them or with nobody about that, because I feel like that I was doing because I wanted.
Okay, time out. So you never communicated
Never.
the abuse?
Never.
Did you ever look for an open door?
No, because in my mind it was like I want it, and I feel like guilt about it.
Okay, so just talk me through that. Why did you what was it at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old? You're like, I want this.
Yeah, it's like having my son. I know like that. Having to say like, I can't even like tell you like I didn't want it. It was things that I was exposed to.
Right.
But I feel that it was something that was part of me and that I like it because I like it.
Yeah.
It was like,
did you feel like you deserved it? Do you feel like you said you wanted, like, was there, like, what, like, if you can remember, what was it like going through that tension? And the reason why I'm asking is because I know that there's people out there watching this and I want them to hear, right? Because when you see someone come through the other side, right, it gives a place where people can go, I can have that freedom as well. So what talk us through just that mindset of that little kiddo.
When I talk about an abuse, I know like sounds like forcing, you know?
Yeah.
But it was not like that. It was something kindly. It's like a friendship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is different. It's not like you're not abusing me. I'm doing that.
Right.
You are attracting me to do that. You are like drowning me to do that.
Yeah.
And then like I don't feel like I've never saw that as as an abuse, you know?
Was this an adult? Like
No.
18 plus or so?
No,
Okay.
teenager.
Yep.
Teenager.
Okay.
Yes. It after in the beginning,
Yeah.
but then it started being with adults.
Okay.
So it was not like I knew like that it was not forced to do that. I was not forced to do that. So that's how I feel like feel like that I wanted it.
Okay.
Like,
I got you.
you know, it's a kind of friendship, it's a kind of relationship.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I knew that it was wrong. Of course, I was ashamed to tell my parents about it. I would never do that. Like, I feel like, what they're gonna think about me,
Right.
you know? And I still have like these feelings and inside and a lot of questions, and it was a little bit. It's a lot of confusion for me.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's how I grew up in Brazil. The whole environment, it was different.
Wow.
Yeah.
So fast forward 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah. That was the beginning. And then after that, it was when I like became a habit. habit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lifestyle.
A lifestyle.
You took
Yeah.
that as a lifestyle.
And it was insane because it started this environment as a child in my neighborhood, but then outside I was just walking on the streets and some random guys approached me or
How old at this time?
oh,
When you started noticing guys approaching you?
11, 12,
Really?
13.
What describe that? What did that? Like they would
It
come talk to you, be kind, or would they?
That is something that I like to share, that it is really normal when people almost don't talk about it. But public bathrooms, a lot of things happen in public bathrooms. I don't know if you already went to a public bathroom and you saw phone numbers.
Yeah.
A lot of like things, messages.
Yep.
So in the beginning, many things happen in public bathrooms. It was the first, after this environment in the neighborhood, it was the next step.
So you'd just be walking around and people would start.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you were soliciting any of this? And please, I know that.
Yeah,
that you
no, don't
weren't,
worry.
But I just want to. Do you feel like at the time, like, were you like looking at people a certain way, or was this just out of the blue? People were just coming up to you. Both.
Yeah. Sometimes it was, I see someone and he started, but in many times it was, I was target of a lot of pedophiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah. And I just realized, actually talking to Nathalia a few days ago, like I was like, because in my mind, I was still thinking like, I want it. It was something that I was,
Right.
but it's not right. Like, it's not right, the fact that the homosexual aspect, but it's not right, the age, you're doing that with a
That's
child.
insanity.
No.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to say that, but even like to motels.
Motels.
Yeah. At a young age.
Yeah, as a child, and hiding like from in car, like so they not gonna see my ID or.
Wow.
So it happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Fernando.
I know. And after that, like you go in more deep, and you lose your honor, your identity, and everything. And so for me, after that, I start to go into cinemas, like to watch porn.
Mm-hmm.
And there is many of these places in Fortaleza, in Brazil. So I started doing that also. So I was like really deep in pornography after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, Nathalia,
Yeah.
as he's sharing this, what's going through your mind?
I know all of this,
Yeah.
and I mean, I knew his story,
Yeah.
and I'm so proud of where he is at now, and I love it.
Yeah, it's really, it's incredible.
I mean, I love to see what the Lord has done. I don't love what
Yeah.
he's been through, and
Yeah.
we both have to process things, and I love being able to listen to him.
Yeah.
And I think one thing is so important, to listen to people that is struggling with this and never judging them, and being just being willing to listen. And I didn't know any of these. I was raised in a pastor's house, beautiful family, never had any type. We were opposite. But Jesus, he wants to meet us at a place where we are, and I love just seeing how he talks about it now. It's different than when I met him.
Yeah.
And I love seeing that he's testifying, like it was, I did all of these, but now, the Lord is.
No, it's incredible. Before we keep going, because I want to keep going.
Yeah.
I asked you to share, and so that people listening that maybe are struggling, maybe have been abused, maybe been hurt.
Yeah.
One, they can of course get help, but two, like there is a testimony of his goodness, and you guys
Yeah.
are a model of the goodness of God walking today, and not just a restoration, but how He's using you guys around the world right now. And it is amazing. So I do want to make sure people listening to this, if this isn't your episode, that's fine. But I think you guys have a very, very important story, especially for what a lot of the world is walking in today. And there are answers.
Yes.
And Jesus is the answer.
Yes.
But what I love about, especially what you just said, like even when you first met, right? Like just the difference and the change.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into it, but I also want to give you a little bit of a break. Are you ready to keep going?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's go. So pornography, cinemas. How old are you at this time?
I'm so bad with like trying to remember, but
It's fun.
I would
You're
say like
young.
my childhood.
Yeah.
Because it was 20 years of my life, like going deep.
Yeah.
And I was going to church. I was there was a season that I was fine, and it was a Baptist church. They're amazing.
They are.
They really take care of me. I something that was really important for me, that I'll never forget it, and I love it. I memorized some Bible verse. Because of that church. And I remember that many times that I was like completely far. I remember the Bible verse.
What were some of the verses?
God was always like talking to me, like through what I learned and I received in that church.
Do you remember any of those verses?
Oh, of course, I know many
Give
in
it.
Portuguese. Sorry.
Go for it.
Say it.
What was one of the ones?
One of my favorites, which is right now for me, is my anthem is Titus 2:3, which says, porquanto a graça de Deus se manifestou salvadora a todos os homens, educando-nos para que, renegadas as nossas impiedades e paixões mundanas, vivamos no presente século de forma sensata, justa e piedosa, aguardando a bendita esperança e a manifestação da glória do nosso grande Deus e Salvador, Cristo Jesus.
Come on. Amen.
Many verses. I remember.
We're going to put that in
Yes.
subtitles
Yes,
at the bottom.
please.
We'll get the translation.
This verse is like, it summarized my whole life now.
Yeah.
I'm living that, So I remember like it was so important, and I'm so grateful for them.
Wow.
I actually like for everyone who has been like part of my whole life, because I believe that people that are struggling with same-sex attraction or homosexuality, they just need someone who believes in them.
Yeah.
If you believe, if you see them as someone, like that is not like their lifestyle right now,
Yeah.
but seeing them as God seeing them
Wow.
and believing in them, it's like that's what we need.
Come on. I love it.
That's what we need.
When did you first share with your parents, or when did that happen? Like when did you make keeping it from this private thing to when did you come out? When did you let people know, or did you?
So everything that I'm sharing with you, it was completely like secret. If you saw me on the streets or as a child or in place, like you're gonna say like, no, that's not true. Like you can tell.
Okay, so someone in America, maybe, or the West, right? They're like, how does a child keep something like that hidden? That seems impossible.
It is.
Yeah.
Right?
It is. At this time, like we didn't have a lot of technology, and as a poor family and going through so many as well, like as a family. My mom, she was taking care, not because I have two sisters. We are three. But my mom take care of more 5 cousins. So we grow up all together. It was a beautiful mess. Yeah. So I didn't know, like, I don't know, I don't know why I or how I could hid it for so much longer, but I did. Only when I was to the university, and that was something that I knew like God was doing, because, and also like in the environment that I grew up in Brazil, like none of my cousins or people that I knew like went to the university. It was a miracle. And I got a scholarship.
For what?
Which was for social communication in marketing. And so after going to the university, it was when I just need to embrace who I am. I was born like that. I've never thought like that God could change me. I tried so hard as a child and as a teenager. I've tried many years.
What did that look like? What does trying to get changed look like?
In my mind, at this time, it was like being in this church environment, having people like, I don't know, going to Sunday service, reading my Bible, praying, you know, doing what I was supposed to do as a good believer. You know, I have many questions. Like, I learned that God gave my life to me. Jesus gave the life to me, and that He would come back to take me to heaven soon. But I didn't know like what I'm gonna do like while I'm waiting for Him. You know,
right?
So for me, it was like probably is about doing like what my duties in the church and helping and you know, I was even like involved with teaching the Bible for the children in the church.
Wow.
But always empty, and I couldn't change. My whole life. The point of decision, it happened in 2013. 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
2013.
Yes.
Okay, so what happened?
I finished my university, and I got involved with this como fala concurso?
Contact?
Yeah.
Contact?
That Pepsi company was doing in Brazil with the universities. So they have the
contest.
brand
Contest.
Yes.
Contest.
So if you do like a marketing plan for one of the brands, and you can go to New York, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try it, and I got the first place.
Really?
Yeah. So when I finished my university, I came to New York. When I was getting ready to come to New York, and this is something like that is important to share. I was feeling sick, and some of my friends came to me and said like, we need to go to the hospital. Like, you cannot stay like there forever. And then they brought me to the hospital, and at that night I was diagnosticated with HIV.
HIV.
AIDS. Yeah.
Wow. How old you were? 19, 20, 21?
2013.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
so
It
bad.
doesn't.
Yeah.
What
I
was
think
that
I was
like?
26.
What was that? What was receiving that news like?
I can't describe. Like, I was like, in my mind, the only thing that I knew was like, it is a punishment from God, you know?
Right.
This is the only thing that I could thought.
Yeah.
That I could think, like, God has punished me because of my lifestyle, because of what I'm doing. And I was scared. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy my last days. I don't know why I thought that, but I was like, I'm going to my trip to New York. I'm going to take some medicine and keep going. So it was not like actually the main point for me to decide I still like, I don't know, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But when I arrived in New York, I was at the hotel, and then I thought I wanna just walk in Broadway by myself. And walking in the Broadway, I had an encounter with Jesus.
What?
Yes.
I've never heard this.
I know. Yeah.
Actually, a lot of this I haven't heard. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard a briefer version.
It was I can't explain what happened. You know, when you have like this revelation about your sin, about your future,
Yeah.
and about who you are, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die probably because of this
Right.
illness, and I'm going to hell because I'm not walking with Jesus. And most of the people that are here are going to hell too. So it was like a lot of things at the same time, and I feel the presence, a presence that I've never felt before. So that was the start point that Jesus started to pursue me, like in crazy ways.
Wow.
Yeah, literally pursuing me. And I still like, not sure, I still like want to keep my lifestyle. I didn't feel ready because I was like, you know what, I try and nothing happened. Like, I'm not going to try again. But at the same time, I surrendered myself. I was like, you know, let's see what's going to happen. So when I come back, I was in a relationship at this time. And I remember that...
Back in Brazil.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember still in New York when I received a message from the guy. And he is saying, you know, we need to break up. And then I was like, what? Why? We're fine. And then he's like, I think what we're doing is not what God wants. And then I was like, what? What are you talking about? He was a Catholic guy. And then I was like, there's something weird happening right now. I don't know what it is.
Did he break up all around the same time? They had this conviction.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
same day.
it was the same time.
Same time.
The same day. In the same day, we had an invitation to go to a nightclub with the whole Pepsi people there. Should I say the brand?
You already did. It's
Sorry.
okay. It's fine.
So they
Unless they
invite
want to
us.
sponsor us. We'll take
Please
that Pepsi money. This is actually what my cup's filled with.
Come
Pepsi.
on.
Yeah.
So they invite us to go to this nightclub. And then we were there, and I didn't want to go. I just don't want to go. I feel like something is happening inside of me, and I don't want to go. But then, like they said, if you don't go, you stay by yourself, and you are responsible for your dinner. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna pay for my dinner. So I'm going to the nightclub.
Yeah.
Everything was paid for in this trip.
So I went to the nightclub, and then as soon as we arrived in the nightclub, I was with this friend from Rio de Janeiro that we just met in the trip, and because of disagreement that she had with someone else, we were kicked out from the nightclub.
You said she had a disagreement, but the two of you were kicked out.
Yeah.
All
Were
of
you?
the group.
Yeah. Oh, the whole group.
No,
Oh, only you and her?
only
Oh,
Ian.
Why
I
were
didn't
you
know.
kicked out?
God didn't want me to be there.
Okay.
That's the only thing that I can think.
Okay. So you're kicked out.
So I was kicked out, and I was like, Jesus didn't want me to be here. And I still like feeling something like that he was pursuing me. And then I come back to Brazil with this conviction that I need to come back to church. But I was saying like, Jesus, I want to come back to church, but I don't want to change. I want to keep my lifestyle. Please leave me alone. So I give another chance to church. And then it was when it started happening, the whole thing. And after
what
that,
whole thing?
the transformation, the transformation, the point of decision. The point of decision happened actually with Iris. So Iris, when I came up to Iris Fortaleza for the first time.
Okay, for Iris Fortaleza is a base.
Yes.
That was run by Andrew Fanstone and
Herbert Barbuti and Lorelai at this time.
Barbuti and Lorelai Barbuti.
Yeah.
Okay, so these guys are not far away. I mean, did you live near the
Base?
base?
Yeah, it's my hometown.
Okay.
It is literally my hometown.
So
No,
is
Oh,
the
sorry.
Near the air.
is it the same
It
area?
is.
Perto da base.
Okay.
It is.
Where where we have like the prayer room, or is it that same? I want to say aldea, but it's not it. What am I saying? What's this?
Sua casa era perto da
Yeah.
base?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so your house was near the base.
It was
Okay.
near the base. Yeah.
So we have a base there that's been there for years.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they work with the poor. They work in.
The girl's situation of prostitution.
Yeah. They work with prostitutes. It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember like coming to the service in the Iris Fortaleza base for the first time. Andrew Fanstone was preaching.
Oh man.
Yay!
We love Andrew.
We love
I
Andrew.
love Andrew. Andrew Fanstone, I hope you're watching this.
We love you, Andrew.
Love you.
Herb, not so much. No, I'm just kidding. Herb,
I love
you
oh,
too.
we love you
We
guys
love
too.
her.
Andrew,
So great for you guys.
like, can I just maybe paint a picture
Yes,
for
of course.
Andrew? Okay,
Yes.
imagine like a British man, skinny British man, that you mentioned the name Jesus and he just starts crying.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter when or where. Soft, right? Like I walked through the I want to say aldea, but it's not. I walked through the
Favela.
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 I walked through the favelas with him, and like people would just come like running out of the houses. They're like Andre, and they would like give him candies and bring him babies to kiss, and he just kisses babies, and like people love him. He serves so beautifully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really, really sweet man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you go to the service.
Yes. But remember that I told you that the contact that I had with the church, it was in a Baptist church.
Right.
So the whole charismatic environment for me, it was new. So I came there, and you know how it is an Iris meeting.
Yeah, it's calm, cool, collected, relaxed.
It's
yeah.
fun.
No,
Quick.
not
Yeah.
at all.
Very quick.
Yeah.
So I came in and I feel like something different. The presence of God was so real there. And Andrew Fanstone was was doing some weird things and shaking, and I was like, wow, what is wrong with this guy? But somehow I like his message. And I get connected.
Did he cry?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of the missionaries share what they do in the favelas, and they work with the prostitutes on the streets. So I was like, for the first time, I had this, wow. So life with God is not about being a better person and being a good Christian, There's a lot of things that we can do in between waiting for his coming. And it is fun. And I like that. I always have like this sense for righteousness and seeing transformation.
Yeah.
And so I remember that I think in my second Thursday night visiting Iris, I told Andrew, I'm going to move to live here.
In the house.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "That's how it worked. That's how you became a missionary."
Kind of. I started as a volunteer.
Okay, yeah, but it was just
but I just
I'm gonna live here.
I left. I literally left my job, everything. Talked to my parents and said I'm moving to a mission base.
And Andrew, what did Andrew say when you walked in? You're like, I'm a stranger.
You know, I'm glad that I talked to Andrew.
Yeah, that's an inside joke. I love you, Herb.
Yeah.
Herb's the best.
I love you, Herb.
Okay, so people are wondering. Herb is
But Herb told you about
Herb
the
is
family thing.
incredible,
Yes, he is.
and they're two totally different personalities.
Yes.
So like, love the Lord. They just do things totally different. Andrew's just like the soft, and Herb's like, Herb, who, man, Herb serves on the board of Iris Global. He's an amazing friend. Herb is like, he can be very soft, but he can also be like, hey, get your stuff together. Yeah,
I needed
love it.
Herb.
We all need
needed
Herb.
both. No, yeah,
I've needed Herb in my life. Yeah.
I need it
Yeah.
so much.
But Andrew's like, he's the snuggly one.
I'm
I
glad
know.
he got both of them.
I
He
got
got the
both.
two good.
The way that Herb built the community, because he was living there.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yep.
he with Lola and I. He did
Yeah.
something that I would never do with Nathalia right now.
What?
Sorry.
You have to fill. Yeah, you have to
live with
Yeah.
a bunch of singles
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
house.
He was literally living in the same house with the like 20 sometimes
Herb and Lorelai.
25
and their
missionaries
kids.
and their
kids.
kids.
And their
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
In a house of 25
And
missionaries.
they
They're
did
amazing.
such an amazing like environment as community.
Oh, yeah.
And-
it's incredible.
That was like a huge part of my transformation process.
Okay, so you go up to Andrew and you're like,
I'm gonna move
I'm
to
gonna
live
move
here. And then he said, okay.
Did you fill him in on your life? Did you fill him in on what's going on? Did you fill him in that you were
I had no
diagnosed with
idea
AIDS?
what I was doing. The only thing that I knew is that I was being drowning like for Jesus, and I was so hungry, and I needed. I was like I was hungry for more, and I
Did you tell them about your life? That's what
not in the same not in the first moment.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't want to scare.
So
him.
what did Andrew say?
Then he said, okay, you can come, and you start coming as a volunteer.
Yeah.
And then I said, yes, that's good. Sounds good. And then I came as a volunteer, starting in the favelas.
God, I wish Andrew was here. I'd love
I
to hear
know.
Andrew and Herb alongside. Oh, we'll do it sometime.
Oh, you had
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
one of them.
So, but then like, I just share with them my whole testimony in one night when they are gathering together.
Yeah.
And they were so amazing. Like they embraced me, and it was yeah, I needed.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, because a lot of times I've seen people share their hearts, share their struggles, and the church tells them, like, you have to change.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be here. And listen, there's times when that is definitely necessary, right?
Yeah.
Like, however, as you've heard other people share their stories, because I know you've talked to a lot of people about this, what did you see Andrew and Herb and Lorelai do that didn't push you away? Like, what that actually brought you into a place to get healing? Like, what did they do?
They treat me as someone normal. It sounds funny, but you know, like
That doesn't sound funny. It sounds
no, I mean,
perfect.
they in a way of even when I shared my whole life, they were like embracing me. I think just pouring out so much love without like, I don't want anything from you.
Yeah.
I just want to love you and open the house for you and having meals with you. Because sometimes I just went out to eat and
Yeah.
have some food with them. There was like, I wish I could tell you that something supernatural or crazy happened, but it was so natural.
I love that.
So
Sometimes
natural.
we look for the big, the crazy,
No.
and to justify it. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are struggling with a lot of things. It doesn't necessarily have to be what your story, but people struggle with stuff, and they think the only way I'm going to get breakthrough is this crazy.
Yeah.
Especially in our culture, where we love seeing God do the miraculous. We can glorify that above just the beautiful biblical process of being changed into His image, right?
Yeah.
Every day. So I love that. Your
it was
testimony is
simple.
perfect.
It was really simple. And something that helped me with Herb as well is that he really helps me to dream with God.
Mm-hmm.
And I never thought like that I could dream with God.
Okay, describe that. What is dreaming with God? Or like,
you know, I have a future with Him. I can partner with Him in what
Right.
He's doing now.
Right.
I can build something with God.
did they sit down? I'm just going to try to ask some questions that I feel
Yes.
like people might be
Yeah, of
asking.
course.
Did they sit down and like lead you to the Lord?
Do
Do you feel like you were saved?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you were saved.
Yeah. But again, the
What
whole
would you tell someone? Hold on, just 2 seconds.
Yeah,
What
no
would you
worries.
tell someone who's like, you weren't saved, you were struggling with homosexuality, so there's no way you could have been saved? Or what would you say to someone
who are not saved yet?
What would you say to someone who said, "Oh, you only thought you were saved, but you weren't saved"?
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I get it. That's actually I had many questions about it myself.
Okay.
which I think is fine. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was in a process. As I told you, the whole charismatic thing, it was new for me, and I didn't had a contact with the Holy Spirit Himself inviting me to come and
Yeah.
and have this. Understanding that Holy Spirit can fill me, and the gifts of the Spirit is also like for me.
Yeah.
So it was a process.
Okay.
The only thing that I could tell for someone that doesn't believe is like, I didn't believe as well.
Yeah. Okay, so you get into the house, you start serving, you move in,
Yeah.
and they start discipling you. And they know your history, they know what's going on, and they're like, we don't care. Come on in.
We don't care.
And you how long were you discipled for?
I stayed in the Iris. I moved to the Iris base
Yeah.
in Fortaleza. I stayed there for about 4 or 5 years,
I think so.
something
Wow.
like that. Yeah.
Wow. And meanwhile, you're over in Mozambique.
Yeah.
Doing what?
I was serving with the women, micro business,
Yeah.
teaching them jewelry making, and with the widows, single moms,
Mhm.
loving it. I thought I was going to be there for
And
the
you-
rest of my life.
And you're praying for a husband.
A husband, an amazing, perfect, great husband.
She didn't pray
because
enough.
this is what we were.
So you're there
For the
going,
best
Jesus,
husband.
I'm in Africa, bring me.
I'm in Africa.
Yeah.
I need the best husband ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was believing for family.
Okay.
But we hadn't met at this point.
You hadn't met.
No.
Okay. So was there a moment where you felt freedom? Or has there not been a moment? And but I'd love for you to share a little bit about like joining the house,
Yeah.
and then getting to a place where you felt freedom. Yeah.
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 God can work in different ways with different people and testimony. In my case, it was always process.
Yeah.
It was never like suddenly.
I love that.
Always until now I still like with God always work with me with process.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you when it happened because I was in a process and I was walking in freedom
Yeah.
and dreaming with God and
Yeah.
believing, and it was the only thing that I can tell you is in Fortaleza I realized that yes, God can change.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I didn't believe that God could change me. I've never believed that. So this is a deep lie that many people, the whole thing that, even like that people are singing right now, I'm born this way,
Yeah.
It makes us believe that this is it. We need to accept and live like this. But I in this process, I could understand, okay, Jesus can do that. Just seeing what he was doing in the favelas and other people and with the prostitutes and with the missionaries at the base. And it encouraged me to believe that.
Wow.
And the fact that they believe in me.
Come on.
So having someone who believed in me, it was like,
That was it.
that was it. Yeah.
And of course, being discipled.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even like the discipleship, like for us, even right now, we do believe that discipleship is not sitting with you here and drinking coffee or having conversation. Is more like, is deeper. It's like doing life. We just do life with
I
our
totally agree.
with our crew in Portugal right now.
Yeah.
And for us, this is discipleship. And I learned that with Herb and Andrew.
Yeah.
They just do life.
They just do life.
You
They
know?
literally live. I mean,
Herb
Herb and
say
Laurel are
like,
their kids.
I need to buy some diapers. Do you want to come with me and
Being
hang out,
vulnerable too.
conversations
Showing
and
life,
vulnerability?
I love that because there's a word in Hebrew. It's called hesed or hesed. If somebody reads Hebrew better than I do, but it translates to loving kindness, right? And the Bible talks about different communities, hesed communities. It talks about like it's a beautiful word. In fact, loving kindness wasn't really a word, if I get this correctly, until it was used to define this thing, because it's more complex. It's familial. It's the love that you have for your family, right? Like your brothers, your sisters. It's like it's deeper than friendship. It's deeper than and it's this word all throughout the scriptures that defines the best thing is loving kindness. So it's that in my opinion only comes from community, right? So discipleship has been looked at as teaching for years, right? But it's you got to do left brain, right brain, right? It's teaching and community and the heart. Yeah. And so you can't just read a book and be discipled. No. Jesus discipled hands on. Yeah. People came with him. And I was just reading Paul, and then I'll shut up. Paul said, the Lord opened up a door for me, and he named this town. And forgive me, I don't have the verse off the top of my head. He said, the Lord opened up a door for me in this town. And but my spiritual son wasn't there. I think it was Timothy, wasn't there, so I left to go be with Timothy. Wow. And I love that because like the Lord opens up a door. Yeah. And Paul gets that. He understands. He sees it. Yeah. He mentions it. Like God opened this door for me in this place, but because I didn't have my community, my family, my spiritual son there with me, I went to go be with him. I love that. Community is so stinking important. I think we fail. We look for the church, or we look for a youth group, or we look for a book, or to fix things. But really, it's simple as time. It is. It's time with people, intentionality with people, loving people, walking with people. It's what Jesus did.
Yes.
Yeah. And help us to work in our character as well, because it would be really good if life would be, our lives would be transformed by just getting freedom from demons. Mm-hmm. But sometimes demons are not the problem. Mm-hmm. We need to, it's working on our character.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish it could just be, the demon is out and now you. But
actually, that's a great question. Did you ever go through deliverance? Did you ever go through, was there any moment, was there a moment where you felt freedom? Or was there a moment where you felt and that's fine if you didn't. I just want to know, because I think a lot of people watching this, maybe the community that watches Green Room, they understand deliverance. They understand, the miraculous. And a lot of people are like, you have to go through this in order to get set free, or it has to look like this in order for freedom. Yeah.
I've been through some inner healing process, but I don't remember going through deep deliverance. Yeah. I was, of course, influenced by demons and things, but not in that. I did had to go through getting free from people that I had contact with.
Yeah, like soul ties.
Yeah, soul
that
ties.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. So I remember that it was actually a fun thing that I was talking with the lady, and then she said, "Funny, yeah." She was like, I wanted you to describe, you to list the names that you had contact with that you can remember. And then I was talking, and she was like, when are you going to finish?
Oh, stop.
Yeah. Because there were many people that I remember the name.
Wow. Yeah. And then there's some that you don't even
know.
Yeah.
That I'm so ashamed to say that, but there are many people that I had.
Why?
Sex that I didn't even know the names.
Yeah. Why would you be ashamed, man? We all.
No, I mean,
all of us.
Of myself, myself.
But it became a joke when he said funny, because his friends are like, we almost couldn't finish of how.
Wow.
Yeah. How big the list was.
Wow. Okay. I just want to keep moving forward, because I want to bring this lovely lady into the.
Okay.
And and I'm sure some of you guys have questions that you'd like to ask, you can put them below in the comments section. Yeah. And I'm going to ask you when this video comes out, if you would like to go through and maybe answer if people have questions that we didn't hit.
We are here for it.
Yeah.
Waiting for it. Just one thing else, that I do believe when you're asking about the whole process, there was something that I learned specifically with Herb.
Okay.
About martyrhood.
Martyrdom.
Yeah. That it was actually really important for my process.
Martyrdom?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
I don't know. I would say there was a revelation that I received.
What was?
My life, it is completely surrendered for God in a way that I need to die for myself.
Yeah.
I'm a dead man walking right now.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and not only in a way like that, I need to be willing to give my life to him if it's necessary in a practical way, but daily.
Wow.
So that message is still like one of my favorite
Yeah.
messages, actually.
I've seen Herb's incredible. He lives it. He walks it. I've seen that message like make so many rooms angry.
I know.
And then like a day or two later, they'll be like, I can't get
I
over it.
got
Yeah.
angry when
Yeah.
he started
For
telling
me,
that.
it was really important. It was a revelation. The only thing that I can tell you is like I got the revelation. This is
Wow.
what I wanted.
Wow.
And
Okay.
and then I decided like, if it is coming back or giving my life, I prefer to give him my life. I prefer
Wow.
like to share my blood and then have to come back to my old life. I don't want that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It was like
It was
deep revelation.
Sounds like letting go of your life control.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And-
Which is actually the essence of the gospel.
Mm.
Like dying for yourself.
Yep.
So
Come on.
I was transformed in the day like that. I realized that I need to die.
So when you are now serving on the base, right? What were you doing in the Fortaleza base? Like, what was your ministry that you would do?
In the beginning, I was working in the favelas,
Mhm.
but then I joined Lorelai with the girls in situation of prostitution, and it was amazing. It was amazing. It was like
Talk about it.
changing life. It really changed my life because I could see like the other side, and that many people has histories and backgrounds and pain and
Was there a story that
Many,
stuck out? Can you give me
but-
one?
many, but there is like this transvestite that I met, and he has actually he is responsible for a group of girls that he kind of like are the boss.
Yeah.
Talking to him, and he was so open, and it was such a beautiful process. Years and years and years. A few weeks ago, I just realized that he got baptized
What?
in the Iris base.
No way in Fortaleza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember that I had like contact and conversations with him.
Wow.
Many testimonies, and at the same time, I could see like the importance of for us as a church to get involved, in the work. And something that was really painful, I would say, is that many girls that are there, they were worship leaders. They were
Hold on.
back-
What?
Daughters of pastors. Yeah.
That were
Used to be.
in
Yeah,
prostitution.
they're part of the church. They're involved with children ministry. Like they are really like not
Really?
only believers, but many women. Like I was like shocked to see that, and it makes me realize, like something is wrong. Like we need to,
Yeah.
and sometimes I remember that we go there and then a pastor just left here right now. So how could we be a light,
Wow.
in the whole environment?
Is what you're saying like these are pastors' kids, right? Or from the church on the
From
streets of
church,
Brazil.
Yeah.
And
Many.
and pastors would come and buy them.
Yes.
Did you see that a lot? Or
It's-
like people in ministry or ministry?
Yeah, it was pretty common.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really painful. Many people that are walking with Jesus, and
So what did that do for your heart as you're going through your transformation, as the Lord's healing your heart in the church, with the community, to see so many around ministry hurt, hypocrites, broken,
Mhm. It's still a process for me because but I'm learning to embrace and love the body of Christ, the church. But I do believe that we need to learn right now how to deal with that kind of situations and this
sexual sin.
sexual sin. And also like it's not about giving a list of people like what not supposed to do. It's
Right.
it really like embracing them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I am believing for a church right now that can, receive a transvestite who is still gonna have,
Yeah.
silicone or things, or
Yeah.
and we're gonna learn how to love him,
Yeah.
because we're gonna learn how to receive him and to embrace him.
It's hard for people. I wouldn't even just say the church. It's hard for people.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But love looks like something, right?
Yeah.
And to the broken, it looks like arms around them, right?
Yeah.
I think as the world is changing, right? As sexuality is now just up for debate, right? I think people. I actually think in one way it is it's allowing the church to see it a little bit more normalized, right? And taking off some of the stigma, right? At the end of the day, these are people.
Yeah.
These aren't problems. These are people.
Yeah.
And so as it's becoming more commonplace, the church they can either dig in deeper, like fighting against people, or they can learn to love the people that are in front of them, regardless of what's going on externally, right? Or regardless of what's going on in their hearts. And that's what I love about your story. It's like Andrew didn't care, Herb didn't care. Like they saw you, right? Now for some of the people that are listening, they're like, okay, so they didn't hear a moment of transformation in your story. They've heard a story.
Yeah.
Was there a moment where you lost the desire for men and it switched to women, or has that not happened? And let's talk about that if you're okay.
Yeah, that's a good question. I can see that big part of my desire. It was more because that was the only thing that I knew.
Yeah.
I've never had contact with a woman, like sexually. Nathalia was the first one. So for my whole life, that's what I knew. I would say like that when I surrendered my life to Jesus, I was instantly curado
de Deus.
Healing.
Healed.
I was instantly healed by the memories and face, like, you know.
Yeah.
But yes, I still like struggling until now with memories.
Yeah.
Dreams.
Yeah.
Sometimes triggers.
Triggered
Thoughts,
yeah.
you know. It's still a process. Yeah, I'm not like 100% free.
Yeah. What would you say to someone that just wouldn't even understand what you're saying?
You know what you think.
What?
You're not what you think. Like you're not your thoughts.
You're not your thoughts.
You're not your thoughts. Like you're not defined by your thoughts.
You're not what you think. No, you know what you think.
No,
yeah.
you're not
what you think. Okay, there's a difference. Okay.
You're not what you think.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for being honest. And for those watching, we actually talked about how far we'd go, and I'm not like pressing you here in the moment.
Yes.
Okay.
He is.
Gosh, it makes me look awful. So we talked about this a little bit ahead of time, because I wanted you guys to be comfortable. I didn't want to force you into anything, but I'm really grateful you're sharing so openly. Thank you.
You're welcome,
Nathalia. Because
Yes.
how does it like feel being married to this man after 6 years? Actually, pause. Go wait for a minute. Like. So how did you meet?
I came to Brazil, to Fortaleza, Iris Fortaleza,
Yeah.
to one of their schools. I came to share at the school about my life in Mozambique. I mean, I met a lot of guys. To me, all of them, I said to
Girl, I know that missionary hunger. You're like, okay, you're a dude, let's talk. Yeah.
No.
Oh, you're 6 years younger? Exactly. I get it.
I like
That was not
Brazilians.
true.
I
We got a
thought
couple,
Brazilians were
Yeah.
really amazing. Yes, I had my eyes open because I wasn't before really intentional in getting to know people. And then when I came there, all of them to me seemed very similar. I don't remember like Fernando, like they all look so similar. They
Yeah.
wear the same clothes, the same beer,
Weird
the same
guys.
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like the
Little.
same. And so I'm like, oh, but there was potential there.
Missions bases get a little,
Yes.
Yeah. I got you.
And then we kept meeting. Like I went to Recife to Nick and Rachel's, and then there he was. Like a few days after, he was there with a team, and I'm like, "Oh, you're the guy from Fortaleza." He's like, "Yes," and he asked me for the picture, and I'm like, "Okay." And then he posted a picture with a little heart, And I'm like, wow. And people is like, who is this guy? I'm like, no, I don't know. He's just a missionary, a family from Iris.
Hold on, time out. I'm gonna come back.
Yeah.
So were you posted a picture with like a heart? What does that mean? Were you putting out the vibes?
It was for the first time I felt like, wow, I wanted that. But I
wanted
just,
what? Hold on, time out. What? So you, Nathalia
I
comes.
started to be open because I thought at this point that I would be celibate. I was like, God, I want to surrender my life to
I
you.
think
Don't laugh.
Brazilians put a lot of
Not laughing at
emoji
you.
hearts
I'm
to a
just
lot of things.
laughing
I was
at the
like-
way
I
you
was-
pronounce these words.
Oh,
It's the
sorry.
no. It's not. Listen, we're friends, guys. So
I
chill. We have fun. But like,
Yeah.
what did you say? You wanted to be a what?
Celibate.
I don't even
Yeah, no,
know. I'm not even going to
celibate.
try.
You wanted to be celibate.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That
I was
sounds like a herb teaching.
I know.
too.
Yeah,
Okay, never
I know.
mind.
Terrible.
So I was
it's-
like, Jesus, I want to just surrender my life to you. Doesn't matter how it's gonna look like. And
Yeah.
if it is supposed, like, if I'm not supposed to be married,
yeah.
I'm fine.
And so in walks Nathalia.
It's sparking something. It was not like the beginning of this thing, but I never thought like someone would be interested in me. And I was, like I have many shoes.
Okay, you never thought someone would be interested in you,
yeah.
and then you just said you had many shoes.
Issues.
Oh God, I was like, you had a lot of pairs of shoes. Okay, you had many issues. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry.
Eu vou começar a falar português.
I was like, vamos falar. Pode
I can
traduzir.
translate, yes.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
you're like,
Yeah.
I had many shoes.
He felt, I think he felt like I wasn't never going to look, like girls were not going to look at him and care.
Yeah.
I mean, his past, he had like, like
Yeah.
there was consequences.
Mm.
And I think, he but then I think Brazilians put a lot of hearts
do.
to
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
picture.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I think that opened the door for us to
Wow.
connect because he tagged me on the picture. And
Yeah.
then I had his contact. But then the third time we met, and Heidi and Laura had something to do in this.
Laura, you
is one
did?
of my
Laura's
best
sitting
friends.
off camera. I didn't know this.
Well, they I don't even know if they know, but we were in Mozambique and they felt I was supposed to come with them to this conference in Sweden with them, and they
Okay.
pay my way to come with them. They're like, would you pray? I'm like, I'm not called to Europe. What would you guys want me to come to this event? And they're like, come with us.
Mm-hmm.
They brought me to Sweden to a Heidi conference, Awakening Europe, and then there Heidi wanted to do an Iris alumni lunch.
Yeah.
After she preached in a big stadium,
Yeah.
crossing her from the stadium to literally the front mall took us like 2 hours, but we made it.
Mm-hmm.
And there he was, this man, for the third time in like the past weeks. I keep
Wow.
meeting him.
Wow.
And then I always said, I mean, yeah, the Lord spoke to them to bring me there, and there I am. And then we sat and talked for like more than an hour. That's when we sat down.
What are you guys talking about during that hour?
We were talking
You just
about
becoming friends?
this friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were talking about this friend situation. It wasn't even about us, but that
It was
day.
about Laura, right?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm totally
she's
joking.
amazing. But I saw his heart that day because he was showing so much compassion and mercy for this friend that we had in common that was going through a very hard situation,
Wow.
like sin.
Yeah.
And he just was like, I love that day. I'm like, I like this guy. He's different.
Now, did you know about his past at this point?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay. So move forward.
But I liked him.
Yeah?
And then we stayed connected. He told me he was called to Europe, and I didn't like that much then. I'm like, oh no, I want someone to call to poor countries,
Right.
Brazil, Colombia, or somewhere in Africa. But then he tried to go to Europe, and that didn't work out. It's a long story. He
We're
got
not gonna
deported twice
Yeah.
from England, and then
there.
then he came back to Brazil, and then we connect. I was at my parents, visiting my family, taking a little break, and then we started chatting, like just online. I asked him for the
Yeah.
thing. I said, "Hey, you're a designer. But I wanted to."
Yeah, you had the arts thing. He's a designer.
But
Yeah,
it was an excuse
of course.
and to
Yeah.
get to know him. And I'm not, usually this type of girl that will do that, but I felt there was something unique and authentic about
Hold on,
Fernando.
you're not the type of girl that what?
I would have just go and like start a conversation.
Do you think there's a problem, like going after what you want?
No.
Okay.
No, but I this guy I wanted. I mean, I knew it. I wanted to get to know him.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Let's go.
I'm asking for the design, and I said to him, always, babe, you did the worst. He's a great professional, like
Oh, yeah,
what
he's
his
amazing.
work.
Yeah.
But what he did, it
was
was the
awful.
most
It was, yeah.
awful thing. And I was like, oh, thank you. It's so nice. And then I told him after we got married, like, that was awful. That was terrible.
Yeah.
And then that opened up the conversation for us to start talking, getting to know each other. And
Wow.
he's like, I just want to talk to you. Can I call you? Like right away. When we started talking, he's like, I just want to share with you something. It was like an hour phone call.
Okay, tell
And he
me
told me
about the phone call.
Everything. He just went. I've never met someone so vulnerable and open. Like, he just told me everything about his life. He told me, I think all the bad things, like, I feel he wanted to make me be so scared and afraid and run away from him. He just was being super like, and this, and I've done this, and I've slept with like all these people and that, and I've never been in a relationship with a woman. And the Lord spoke, but he that said the Lord spoke to him about family.
Okay, time out.
Yes.
So, so you grew up in a pastor's home,
Yes.
right? Church,
Christian.
followed Jesus your whole life,
Yes.
Yeah.
My whole life.
and you're dreaming,
Yes.
God, bring me a husband. I'm going to
Yes.
serve you.
Yes. I had never been
And you get a
sexually involved with a guy.
Never.
Never.
And you get a phone call from this guy you're interested in, and he's like putting out every reason
Yes.
that I would tell most, like I would tell my daughter,
Of
Right.
course.
run.
Right? Yeah, some people
I
told
would do
me,
the same.
don't even, I mean, what? No, this is not what you want.
How? Wow. Okay, so you're sitting there listening to this. What's going through your mind?
It was a lot. It was like, ooh, I need to process. I need to process.
I just spit. I'm so sorry. I mean, yeah,
It
you need to
didn't get
process.
I didn't get to. I mean, you could. I
I
thought
need to
it
process.
could have been
Well,
worse.
of course, you need to process.
And Laura was part of this whole process.
You were,
I'm
Laura.
So glad
Come
she's
here,
there.
come here, Laura, really quick. Come on, just jump on in.
But I talked to her about it.
You did? Just come in quick. It's fine, Laura. You're
Come.
fine.
Come, amiga. This is my
here, come sit
one of my
down.
best friends.
Just sit down for a sec. What was that? What was that? What were those phone calls like? So your friend calls you up, right? Here,
Yeah.
let's go forward. Your friend calls you up and she's like, "Hey, I'm interested in this guy. He's been mentored by Herb."
Well, also another thing is, Amiga, the people on the Fortaleza base, one thing that was interesting is they didn't actually think that you guys would be a good match.
Oh, yeah.
So
Many
it was
people.
hard, even as Natalia's friend,
Yeah.
because even Herb and other people, they were saying like, oh, Fernando's a young guy that we're discipling. And it wasn't necessarily what we pictured at first.
No.
Yeah.
You know?
People couldn't believe it.
Because Nathalia was such an incredible leader. She was leading the entire Iris Arts. She was discipling women. And then, you know, other people, even people who were mentoring Fernando were like, we could never picture Nathalia and
That
Fernando.
was, yeah.
So it was like, you know, of course.
Many people spoke. Yeah, thanks.
We wanted to be open, but it was also kind of like, oh, like, are we sure that he's ready for this?
Yeah.
But
There's a
at
lot
the
of
same-
red flags, I would say.
Yeah, people were saying that Fernando wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
That Nathalia was much more mature. She was older. So at first, we weren't sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So hold on one second, just because we only have this microphone. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, amiga.
So,
I love you.
You can hang out here for a minute, Laura. Okay, so when did the when did the change? Like, when did the change happen? When you were like, "Wow, I'm going to go down this road."
No, I spoke, I prayed, but I talked to my parents. My parents are amazing mentors and pastors, and
What did your parents think?
They were.
They love me.
Of course they do. Everybody does.
To be super honest, like like they taught me about loving, like I grew up with them loving like the FARC in Colombia, the guerrilla, the ones that like we hand out Bibles in red zones in Colombia, and so I grew up with them loving the people no one loved. And my dad, I remember telling me when I told him everything about Fernando, he said, Nathalia, if there is one thing we know we thought you well and we trust 100% is that you hear the Lord. Since you were a little girl, you know God's voice, and we 100% trust you are going to hear his voice if this is the man you're meant to marry. And if this is the man, we're going to be with you 100%.
Wow.
And if anything ever happens, like he said, like, because I had to share with them about everything, even the diagnosis he had that could affect me in the future, HIV or having children. And I was like, I was super honest with them. I mean, this all could happen. Maybe we don't have children. Maybe I get sick. I don't know. And they were like, no matter what you choose, we were going to believe 100% the Lord.
What are your parents' names?
I know.
My parents, William and Carlota. They're amazing.
William.
They
Carlota.
Carlota.
And they love and they pray with me and say, we're going to be with you 100% no matter what. And if
Where
whatever
did your parents
happens,
come from? Who raised them?
they were part of the big like Jesus movement that happened back in like the 80s, and they got saved instantly from like alcohol and like smoking and partying. They got in this young group that is now a lot of pastors from Colombia came out of these. It was
kind of like the Jesus
group.
movement in America.
They went
there was a
to
massive
preach
group in Colombia.
that happened. They were part of that
stadiums.
group.
Carlos Anacondia, Claudio Frazen, I know would come Argentina. Oh wow.
Yeah.
So your parents like experienced revival.
They did. They preached and they planted many churches with other people. So to be honest, I thought they were gonna be more scared or like more, but I mean they showed me Jesus again and again. And it was a process. I had fears, and they said the most important thing is how do you feel and what is the Lord telling you? And I asked the Lord, and I felt the Lord said, I'm with you. I'm with you, like I am with you. And I felt like he said, and you're going to be fine. I'm going to protect you in your generation.
My God, I can't imagine having that conversation with my daughter.
Yeah.
I need it.
I just can't imagine. I would not do as well as your parents.
Yeah. I mean, they asked me questions, they did, but I never felt they were like, no, or like, I think it was more me, like that I was I remember when I went to buy the wedding dress. I mean, I'm summarizing. We were like engaged. It was fast, our whole process, because I knew there was something so authentic about Fernando. The fact that he just told me his whole life when we were like getting to know each other, like usually guys would want to impress you. He just wanted to like, and he told me after, I was expecting you to just not wanting anything to do with me. And that attracted me because I saw he was just living like he was dead. He wasn't anymore what he was in the past. And I can say that now, like he inspires me every day.
Wow. To
be better. Like I grew up in a Christian home and I grew up Christian, but knowing his story, like what he's been through, taught me of like, oh my gosh, like I have issues, I have stuff, I my character, my person, I need to grow up, but I need to run to Jesus. He's amazing at that. Like he just runs to the Lord for everything. He's super intense with everything he does. It's super intense in a good way. So but I remember when I was picking my wedding dress that day, he, with the diagnosis of the HIV, he hadn't been taking his medicine for a while.
Why?
Long story. But,
okay, don't worry.
But it was we had this thing in Fortaleza. We were having this prayer meeting, and this lady from the US came. And she had a knowledge of word about the HIV. and she prayed for me.
Wow.
And that night, like it was supernatural. It was crazy.
Yep.
I did receive it, the healing, and I do believe that I was healed.
Yeah, I get it. So
I
you were,
still
you
like,
were
yeah,
in the
He believes-
process
he
of-
believes
but
in it.
I did
Yeah.
like stop with my medicine,
Yeah,
which
okay.
was not good because
Okay.
I was getting sick again and it was really bad.
It's a hard one because you're
Yeah.
making a faith statement.
Yeah.
You know, and I get it. I see people do it all the time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of shame around that.
But I love his faith.
But yeah.
Really testifying
Yeah, yeah.
of this miracle and
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, well, and then one thing, then he told me, yeah, HIV, but I've been healed. And I'm like, okay, but then when we were going to get married, I'm like, well, I don't want to like doubt. I don't want to like say that
Right.
your faith is not enough, but we need to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And, this is wisdom,
Right.
being wise. And then we went, and then he was like very like not good. And I was really concerned because he had to go through like a more intense treatment to get to the undetectable. I mean, this is another whole word that I had to
You
learn,
learned this
which
world.
he is
Yeah.
right now undetectable. And I believe that it
is healing.
It is healing because
Yeah.
our son is fine. I'm fine. But at that point, sorry.
Yeah. No. Okay. I don't want to get ahead of us.
Yes.
But go for I cut you off. I'm
No, I
sorry.
remember the dress spot. I remember
Yeah.
that day I was shaking, choosing the dress, and I felt like the enemy was trying to put a lot of fear in me and saying like, are you going to be able to do this? And I was thinking, how is it going to be like? And I was just like, God, am I making? And I remember his voice. And when I picked the dress, they gave me, it was in America, and they gave me these
Ring bells.
ring things, a
Bell.
bell. And then she's just move that and say, yes, I got the dress. This was not a Christian. And when I did that,
Like,
I
rang this
just
bell.
felt like the Lord was saying yes to the dress. I didn't know. But I felt Holy Spirit was using that to say, I'm with you. I'm with you. Just as long as you're walk with me and trust in me. This is
Wow.
what I want. This is what because I question like, God,
Right.
I've saved myself for my man. I
Right.
question that.
Right.
And but at the same time, I'm like, we're new. When we become to Christ, we're new creatures,
Right.
and you cannot judge him at all. So I remember that day being like, fear was left, and then we
Yeah.
got married. Here we are.
Okay, we just need to do this because if you do talk, we got to do it in here, or
Okay.
Matt hurts me after the show.
Yes.
Okay, so and we'll just swing it around, or I'll scoot over. Yeah. Okay, so really quick, you guys get married,
Yes.
right? HIV, you realize the risk that you're taking.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Were you nervous that you wouldn't be enough for him? Were you nervous that he hadn't gone through healing entirely? Were you nervous? Are you nervous when he's around? When he gets? Yeah. So talk me through this.
To be honest, no. Like I was nervous because it was my first time with a man, ever.
Okay.
So I was afraid because I was nervous. I thought he wouldn't like my body. I think all these normal things that women would have. But I walk with the Lord through that before. Like, Lord, I believe you've done a healing in Fernando, and I know there's going to be temptations and with any other scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't afraid. I was excited and it was amazing.
Laura, were you at the wedding?
Yes,
Okay,
I was
here's-
a bridesmaid.
You were.
Yes.
So what's going
Natalia had a lot of bridesmaids. I was one of them.
What's going through your mind?
So, like Natalia said, it was a process. It wasn't just a fairy tale in a way, because it wasn't what we would have expected. And so I remember processing a lot, but Natalia really felt this is the Lord. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. I think to remember there's so much potential, and the way that God sees things isn't the way that we always see things. And even seeing them now 6 years later, but even Fernando came to Mozambique, and that was really significant and special as well, because we were able to meet Fernando, and Fernando was able to see Natalia's
Yes.
home and Mozambique, and we could get to know each other in a different way. But I don't remember us ever thinking anything about his past lifestyle. It was more just, we would think about it in the sense of, wow, that's maybe not what we might have thought or pictured or imagined.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, there wasn't fear of him going back or anything like that. It was more just processing like, wow, that's a lot. That's different than what we pictured. But then seeing the potential of this is an amazing man of God,
Right.
and God's writing a story.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I was never felt like afraid of, or like that I didn't trust him at all with like men around or anything. I love seeing him even with, and I've asked him that. We're very honest. I think one thing that has worked out for us is just, I learned that from him, being super vulnerable about everything. Like I will ask him, like I can ask Fernando anything. I have access to his phone. I have access to, and about, but I know, that's the one thing I said, God, I don't want to get married with him if I'm going to walk in fear. I didn't want to enter just
Right.
something. And that wasn't my case. And no, it's fear. No.
Wow. Come on. This is just an incredible story. We can keep talking about this. One of the things that I want to do though is if people have questions, I know there's people out there that are watching this that really, really have some questions, and this is a cost for you. Okay. I know in Iris, a lot of people know y'all's story. This is going to be put out there for people to hear, and there will be the awful that goes along with the internet. And I hate that, and I'm sorry. I'm praying that there won't be, but there will also be a lot of hurt people that needed to hear your story, your message, that like really, really, really need to talk with someone.
Yeah.
Is how can people get in touch and with you guys if they want to, need to?
Yeah. We can put down our email. We try to do, when someone comes with like a specific like that issue, like we always try to do it together. We always do it together.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a thing we have as a couple, we do it together because it's the best.
Yeah. Well, I know you have
We
walked
can
with
put our
people
email.
that
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
And I mean, just the love, the understanding, just someone to talk to is incredible. Now, I don't want you guys to get flooded. Okay. So, we'll put your email in the bottom.
Yes. We can.
And you guys also run a school
Yes.
out in Portugal.
Yes.
And so there's ways that people can visit the base.
Yes.
You guys have an incredible base out in Portugal that's growing
Yes.
at a rapid pace. And if this testimony touches you, I want you to sow into these guys. If you want to support these guys, how can they do it? How can people support you guys?
We are at the Iris Global website. People can go there, or we have also Iris Lisbon, www.irislisbon.org, and people can donate there.
irislisbon.org. So you're in Lisbon,
org.
Portugal.
Yes.
And what are you guys doing out there right now?
We are building an amazing community of missionaries. We want to see Europeans raising up and becoming missionaries and going to the world, going to the nations. So that's one of the key things, because we both been part of Fernando's I believe his transformation came out of community and love and embracement. So we love doing that. We do that. We have a team of like 10 people right now running with us.
Yeah.
And we minister to African and Gypsy communities
In Portugal.
That's
awesome.
There is poverty
Yeah.
in Portugal. That surprised me about Europe, because when he said Europe, I'm like, there is no needs in Europe. And yes, we were very surprised.
Yeah.
But you want to share what else we do there? Sorry.
God gave me a vision, and I'm talking about myself because that was really particular. And I knew like there was about Joel 2 and Acts 2.
Joel 2,
Joel
Acts
2
2.
and Acts 2,
Yeah.
which is about the pouring out of the Spirit.
Yeah.
And I do believe that God is raising up right now an army to prepare His way for His coming. But the vision that God showed me like is the army was not people from the church. It was like a lot of people that are completely out of, living in different lifestyles. I could see like prostitutes, I could see transvestites, people that were using drugs, and God was like washing their vests. And they were receiving like receiving the revelation. I do believe that the army that God is raising up right now, for the preparing His way, they're not even believers. They are in process. They're in process. In the same way that, I talk about that with security and knowing that it's happening because I'm part of that.
Yeah.
You're not only that, but like willing to give the life to Jesus in the darkest place. So this is the vision that we have. We want to like people, not only people who has calling to mission, but people who are willing to serve God and give their life to Jesus and dying every day, for themselves, getting positioned and to see the name of Jesus being glorified in the nations.
Yeah.
So you guys watched the Green Room episode with Kim Zember.
Yes.
Yeah.
we did.
And she has a very powerful testimony. I would say similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yes.
And
When she was talking about like that she didn't believe that God could change her life,
Yeah.
it was the same.
Connect.
Yeah.
I had the same belief, and I believe in there is a belief that many people has right now, and I do believe we need to break that.
Yeah.
God can change.
Yes.
God can do it.
Come on.
It's not about believing it. We need to believe in the truths that God is saying about who we are.
Yeah. So it's hard when you're in the worst place in your life, right?
I know.
It's hard to see the light. It's hard to see truth.
I've been there.
And I know a lot of my friends that, or I've met in ministry over the years that have struggled with same-sex attraction, or they've struggled with some addiction, something that overtakes their life, it overtakes their identity, and so talk to them for a minute, and I want both of you guys, like, what would you say to someone who is, I don't know, 18, 19, struggling through this? What would you say to them?
Be vulnerable. It is the beginning. Like I think we believe we start in this place of vulnerability, and I know that sometimes it's difficult to trust, and probably people have had some issues with leaderships or people that didn't went well with that kind of vulnerability. It was not like a safe place, but don't give up. I think like the thing is, if you don't quit, you win.
Yes.
I wish I could give you the better crazy supernatural thing, but perseverance, if you believe that God has created you to be and walk in holiness, that's only possible in a place of intimacy and getting to know Him. Jesus is the only reason, and he has to be everything. Like everything has to come from this place of intimacy. So come as you are, like, and talk to Him, and start a relationship with Jesus that it'll be so strong that sin is not gonna make sense anymore.
Yeah.
So right now, my life is like, I can use the words that Peter used it when he said, where can I go? Like, only you has the words of truth, like the true words.
Wow.
I have nothing. I can't. It is not about like marriage, family, ministry. I don't care. I love my family. I love Nathalia. I love Christopher. But I gave up in ministry. Like I don't even like pursuing ministry anymore. Like I wanna just walk as a priest. I understand that people like can hide themselves in ministry and doing things, you know,
Yeah.
and it's still like living a really bad lifestyle. And I know like there are many missionaries in the mission field right now. They are living like homosexual lifestyles and doing things.
Oh yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
So it's just because we don't understand the point. We're not calling to build ministry, like to run after things or doing things to God. We're calling to be. It doesn't matter how it's going to look like. Nathalia cannot be the first. And also like marriage is not the solution. There are many things that we need to tell you guys that is important in this process. Like
To go for it.
marriage is not the solution. Is God, Jesus is the only, I know like that sounds
Right.
cliche, but Jesus is the only who can really help us go through that.
Kim Zember talked about that same thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's beautiful that you're saying it. So I hear you, and I hear you said be vulnerable, and you shared the tension, right?
Yeah.
But how can somebody be vulnerable when people around them don't accept that, don't want that, they'll get hurt when they're vulnerable.
Yeah. There are many good ministries and people right now are willing to help people go through process.
Yeah.
I would say like pray that God can show you a community or a place that you can save
Right.
to that happen, you know? And also like walk in boldness. And if you know, I had to leave my job and everything behind. And I'm not saying like for you to do that, but I did like crazy steps to follow Jesus in a radical way because I want it. I want to change. It doesn't matter how it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to be like Zacchaeus, like go to a tree, do something crazy,
do something.
but call the attention of Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we are like too passive sometimes
Yeah.
when it comes like pursuing Jesus and his presence and really wanting the changing.
Natalia,
Yeah.
what
trying to think.
what would you say to people that hear your husband's testimony and don't trust it and are like, eh?
I mean, I can't judge that. I mean, there is people that we as we said, they didn't trust it. They were afraid. They were like, don't do this. Christian, close people, and we love them. And I don't judge you. But I mean, I think it's the process, as Fernando was saying, it's been a process, and you have to be willing. Like I was gonna say about when the Lord told him about marriage, God has spoke to Fernando about marriage, and maybe that doesn't happen with everyone.
Right.
Like the testimony of your friend, I forgot her name.
Kim.
Kim.
Yeah.
And in this specific situation, the Lord spoke to him about marriage and really directly spoke to him. And then the Lord spoke to me, like I was going to be a voice of redemption for Fernando. And I felt the Lord prepare me for these, and he's giving me grace for that. So I cannot I don't judge those who don't believe in it. But I can just tell you that it's true that we live a real life. It's not perfect. There is struggles. There is days that he wakes up with nightmares. Like when we got married first, like he would just wake up screaming with nightmares. And I had to be really willing to just be there for him and being that voice of redemption and going with him through things. And I believe it's so important to just never judge. I never want to judge anyone who's struggling with any type of sin, because I know someone who's had a really different life. And I mean, just be willing to listen to the voice of the Lord first before you judge. But
I look at it as the whole plank in your own eye, or in the speck, or what is it? You're judging the speck in someone's eye when you have the plank.
Exactly. Yes.
I don't know anybody that's not in a process.
Yeah.
I was reading, what is it? Revelation 2. To he who overcomes, I will give the white stone.
Yeah.
Larry was talking about
Yeah.
it. To he who overcomes, and I love that. It's overcomes. It's a process of overcoming,
Yeah.
right? It's not to those who overcame.
Yes.
To he who overcomes, it happens. And then he says he'll give the white stone, which Larry was sharing, spoke to the Urim and the Thummim, which is judgment and grace, right?
Yes.
Like, and there's another theory that it was on the shoulder blades of, or the shoulder pieces of the priest had stones, onyx and something like that on it. What it is it is speaking to, potentially, I actually called like one of the biggest theologians on the book of Revelation to get his interpretation of that.
Wow.
Yesterday, because I've been like reading that verse over, but Larry's translation basically is like Urim and the Thummim, right? Judgment and not guilty, right? The Urim and the Thummim were black and white, potentially. So to he who gives, I'll give him a white stone and a new name. It speaks to grace. It speaks to, you're not guilty, and you get a new name.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. But to he who overcomes,
Yes.
we're all in a process, in a growth
Yes.
process.
Yes.
Gossip is a sin.
Wow, you just dropped that. Yeah.
We need to talk because as church, sometimes we have a list of things like, oh, this is awful, like homosexuality. But you know what? The same hand that is pointing to someone who is homosexual has some struggle with gossip or
Right.
least sexual immorality, heterosexual immorality out of marriage. So that is not like God doesn't do like this difference between this sin is too big and this one is less.
Right.
If we have this mindset, it really helps me understanding that, because God sees sin as sin and we need to change.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
we all have process we need to go through.
Is there, as we're coming to a close, is there any questions you wanted me to ask that I didn't ask? Or is there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to?
I don't think so. I mean, I feel like I want to say to anyone who wants to get married,
Yeah,
if
go
they're
for it.
single, because like you have to be we need to be really willing to listen to the voice of God, because we can meet people that doesn't meet our expectations, like at the first sight, and we can really judge.
I'm just kidding, Laura.
That's not Laura's story. I know.
No, totally
That's
joking.
not Laura's
I'm totally
story.
joking, Laura.
No,
Yeah.
that was my situation.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was
I find a lot of
"What?"
people-
and people's like, "What? That's not for you."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, as if again, the love of God is the same for all of us.
Right.
He doesn't love me better because I was in Mozambique or because I was in a Christian home. Like, no. And look at us. We come from very different backgrounds. And here we are,
Yeah.
two of us running after the Lord. And
Yeah.
that's when we meet. And if I had just allowed these voices come, I had to quiet all these voices and really hear the Lord and see the bigger picture, the purpose and what's on it. And then okay, yes, I want to run with someone that it's authentic, vulnerable. So just be open. The Lord, it might look very different at the beginning,
Right.
but be willing to hear the voice and of the Lord.
I love that.
And it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the best marriage ever. I mean, we're not like, oh yeah, we're the perfect couple, but here we are walking hand by hand with the Lord, and it's lovely when he walks with us.
I will say this: in all the years that I've walked with you guys, and Laura knows probably better. Well, I know this.
She's
guy.
been with us. She's lived with us.
I lived with them in Portugal for 3 months.
with COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was.
Yeah, y'all aren't
their
perfect,
house.
but y'all are no different than me and my wife. None of us are perfect. There's stuff. But,
Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing that kept coming to my mind as we've been talking is he who's been forgiven much loves much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that too, that's the gospel.
Yeah.
The gospel is that Jesus died and forgave all of our sins. And just seeing, like, Fernando, you've had so much that, you've overcome with Jesus, and this love for Jesus that you have is so deep. And so I think that's true too, that people who've been through stuff, there's this deep love for Jesus that comes from that place of, and also a place of being able to love other people well through whatever they've been through, love and grace, because you understand.
Yeah.
He loves so well, like anyone that comes, he just wants to bring them in and love them. And I'm like, wait, but you don't know them. But he's like,
well, that's what happened. That's what happened in his life. He was brought in. In Fortaleza.
It would seem great.
Yeah.
If there is one
Miracles.
thing that I would love to someone that is watching, remember
Go for it.
with the whole thing is God can change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to believe that.
Yeah.
If we need to start there.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible talks about ex-gays. Ex-gays.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
Section.
I think I might know what you're referencing, but tell me, what are you talking about?
1 Corinthians 6.
Okay.
First or second, I forgot.
Go for it.
But Paul like has a list of sins.
Yep.
And one of the sins is homosexuality.
Mhm.
And then he said that you guys were before you got
You have one
in Christ, like before you received life in Christ.
Okay, what is it?
1 Corinthians 6, I think.
First Corinthians 6. Yep. Where is it this? Everything is permissible for me, but not everything is beneficial.
but
Everything is permissible for me, but I will not be mastered by anything. Food for the stomach, stomach for the food.
I think it's before that.
Okay.
2 verses before that.
So before that.
Procura. Tem?
Here, find it as I'm looking.
Yep.
Do you not know that all wicked will not inherit the kingdom of God? Do not be deceived. Neither the sexually immoral, nor idolaters, nor adulterers,
Yes.
nor male prostitutes, nor homosexual offenders, nor thieves, nor the greedy, nor drunkards, nor slanderers, nor swindlers will inherit the kingdom of God. And that is what some of you were. I've never seen that.
Come on.
Man, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
We need to believe that
What?
God can change.
Jesus
Why have
can
I not
change.
seen this before?
Jesus can change.
I was like, what is he talking
He
about?
told me
Like,
about it, and I'm like, are you sure?
What? Okay, hold on. Time out.
Well, we
Okay, so
live
this
in
is
it.
1 Corinthians 6, verse 9. Do you not know that the wicked will not inherit the kingdom of God? Do not be deceived. Neither sexually immoral, which was most people I know,
Yeah.
nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor male prostitutes, nor homosexual offenders, nor thieves, which was me, the greedy or drunkards, which was me, nor slanderers, nor swindlers will inherit the kingdom of God. And that is what some of you were.
Wow.
But you were washed, you were sanctified, you were justified in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ and
Come
by
on.
the Spirit of our God.
This is it.
What?
So, like,
Why have I never read that before? I mean, I've read it, but why I never saw that. Thank
He
you.
can do it. He can do it.
you're welcome. But this is the message. Believe.
That's the best,
You
man.
need. You just believe. If you just start
I mean,
there,
I
everything can start from there. You know, like everything, because then you I can run to Jesus. I can have an intimacy with Him, and I can make it, and I'm making it.
yeah, you are. You guys are amazing.
11 years. I'm 11 years right now that I don't have any contact
Yeah.
with other.
Wow.
Yeah.
Come on, bud.
Free.
And for me, it was impossible because it was my lifestyle for 20 years.
Wow.
20 years. And it was not an experience. Many people came like, oh, probably it was an experience because I can't see, like they see
Okay,
me.
talk about that.
Many
I've even asked you. I said, were you more bisexual
Yeah,
before?
no, I was 100% fully. Yeah, no, it was not an experience. It was my lifestyle. I was the only thing that I could keep like this image always, but it was different.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But God can do it.
Come on.
Yes, he's able. He can do it.
Okay. Can you guys, as we close, can you just pray? And you can look at, which one? this guy in the middle. Can you just close us in prayer? And can you just pray for anybody? Because, like, therefore there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus.
Yeah.
I hate the condemnation that takes people out, that pulls them away from God, and at worst the suicide, the torture that many people are living in. Can you pray for them? You have ministered to friends of mine who have come out of the community and are now walking in a realm. They're in their process. And man, just as I'll never forget after I introduced the two of you guys, or the three, of you to each other. The peace, right? Like, oh, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Could you pray?
Yes.
Yeah, both of you.
Pray.
Yeah, whatever you want.
I can start and then Nathalia.
And just take a look at that camera.
Jesus, thank you for this opportunity to glorify your name.
Yes,
and
Lord.
I want to pray over any person that are watching right now and just want to hear that Jesus believes in you. Jesus believes in you. God believes in you. Probably you are walking alone right now. Probably you are hopeless. But Jesus, would you come and bring the revelation, that the same revelation that you did when you came to me, that you are able to make us overcome anything that is opposite of this place, that seeking your presence and intimacy, and allow us to love you more. We want to love you more, God. And I pray that you're gonna do it again.
Yes.
As you're watching right now, I pray, Jesus, do it again.
Yes, Lord.
And I do feel like last night, even when I was sleeping, I was praying, God, bring salvation.
Yes,
Bring
Lord.
salvation.
Yes, Lord.
I wanna see salvation, Jesus. I wanna see people come to you. It's not about overcoming sins. It's not about strugglings or pain or anything, but make us realize that you are the only thing we need. We do need community. We do need go through processes in the healing, but let us understand that everything begins on you. And it's going to finish in you, Jesus, because you are the center of our lives.
Yes, Lord.
We need you. Let us love you more, Jesus. And do it again. Do it again.
Yes, Lord. I just want to pray. I felt the Lord put in my heart this morning in Psalm 23:6. I think it says, surely goodness and love and mercy will follow me all of the days of my life. And I just was sensing, you weren't made for shame, for condemnation, to live in, if you're struggling, you weren't made for condemnation and for, I deserve these things bad. You were created for goodness, for mercy, for love. He wants to give you that. And we have tasted the goodness, the mercy, and the love of God. And I would just declare that over some of you that are living in condemnation, that are living in guilt and hiding. Come, just bring to him all of that, and he has amazing promises for your life.
Come on.
Amen.
Come on. Amen. And I think we mentioned you do not have AIDS.
No.
And
I
your
don't.
son does
No.
not have AIDS.
No.
AIDS is
And
actually the next step. If you
Yes.
have the virus
Yeah.
and you don't treat, and then you go to AIDS.
Okay.
So it's a difference. So I
It's,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't worry.
No,
it's
but I was
it's
confused
good to
too.
talk about it so
Yes.
people can understand. But now, like, I do a treatment. We do a treatment in Portugal.
Wow.
Nathalia and even Nathalia go through doctor with me as well.
Wow.
So we've been walking with people that
To be checked up.
Yeah.
But
and
the
now I'm
doctors-
clean. I'm like I don't have the
Undetectable.
I'm undetectable right now. I don't have the presence of the virus.
Wow.
I'm taking
And you
medicines.
don't either.
No.
Yeah, and we're fine.
And I love it when we go to the doctors, the first question every time, when they would come, they're like, have you been losing weight? You look so good, like you look so healthy. And I remember when we were trying to get pregnant, the nurse, the doctor came, she just looked at us, are you sure? She just like, you look so good. You look so different. Go for it. You can have children.
Wow.
You can try. And she wasn't even a Christian, and she gave us so much faith. And we're
makes-
still trusting for more children.
Yeah.
If in the natural and then adopt, but it's beautiful. This is the goodness. This is the mercy of the Lord when you trust in Him and obey what He's telling you to do.
He makes all things new.
Yeah.
He makes all things new.
I just want to thank you for just coming on. I know this isn't easy, but it's beautiful, and it's brave. And yeah, I just want to thank you guys for coming on and being so open. I really wanted to do this because I don't want this to just be interviews of cool people that I love. I really want to see lives impacted.
Yeah.
And so
we are.
I'm very, very grateful because this actually costs you something. It really does. I think it does. It costs you something in being vulnerable, especially with a topic that a lot of Christians feel uncomfortable to talk about. But we need to make it a little bit more of our conversation. Guys,
Thank you for inviting us.
Oh,
Yes,
stop. Whatever.
thank you.
Anytime. You know that.
I always want to be in the green room.
Dude, you've been here like 20 times. You
His
just haven't.
dream.
Yeah. Is it the dream?
That was his
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah, it is. Come on. It's cool.
was.
You can
I
admit
love
it.
you, Will.
I love you too, dude. I love you guys. Thank you, Laura, for hopping in.
Thank
Yes,
you,
thank you
Laura.
for spontaneously having me on the green room too.
I love you.
I
We love you,
apologize,
Laura.
Jeff and Matt, for doing the thing that you asked me not to do, which is bring people in last minute. But
Thank you, guys.
it's really beautiful to hear your side of the story and just walking with a friend
Yeah,
because it's
I
real.
love these guys.
Yeah.
Natalia and I were roommates in Mozambique for about 4 years. So we've
Wow.
been doing life together for a long
Yes,
time.
and we've
Wow.
been very good friends since then.
And Laura is.
She's single.
I didn't say
She's
it. I didn't say it. I didn't
beautiful.
say that. Your friend said
Let
it.
me know if you
Just
want to.
kidding.
I can say.
You
I
can send an email
can
to
help.
Natalia.
Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble now.
have a
I
high
felt it.
profile
But-
for her, though. I have a very high profile, so not anyone can. Just kidding.
Listen, guys, hit like, hit subscribe, please, and do me a favor, leave a comment and share this. It helps get it out. We love you guys, and yeah, we'll see you on the next episode of the Iris Global Green Room. Bless you guys. Do you guys feel good?